All right, here we are. This is going to be a very new kind of edition. We did one episode last year, but we're going to try to fire up Breaching with the Boys again because there isn't enough opinions out there in the world about what's going on. So, going to be teaming up with my boy Nick Laidlaw from Battles and Beers, and famous author of What War Did to Us, multiple volumes, and war documentarian and war journalist. Nick, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Always a pleasure to talk with you and just hang out. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is going to be more of a hang session. I got a few topics that we'll cover. I think we're going to try to do this, knock this out at least twice a month or possibly weekly. So for the viewership out there, for my dad that pays for the Spotify account, this is a shout out to Mike Nagel. I was got to give him a shout out. He's my first subscriber. Paid subscriber too. And we're going to be talking about, Into the Breach. The main tentpole episodes are awesome. They're fun to do, talking with people. But those are, individual stories. We, go in depth. Breaching with the Boys or Into the Breach, its theme is life, war, and film. So, my goal for these weekly or bi-weekly to weekly episodes is kind of dive into one OSINT, what's going on in the world, life, culture, culture, etc. War, which is OSINT, what's going on, Iran. You got Iran, Ukraine, Israel, Venezuela, Greenland. Shit's popping off left and right. This, everywhere, and then film. I think I'm going to throw you some curveballs, Nick, or I'll start actually maybe preparing some stuff and send them to you to be like, hey, let's review this film. And the hot take for this episode is going to be warfare. So I don't remember. We'll start pulling some stuff out of my ass just for questions, but we'll do that, and yeah, man, we'll just dive in. So we'll just start off, man. How's your week going?
bro,
Into the Breach is excited to be teaming up with Nine Line Apparel, a veteran-owned apparel company that celebrates the spirit of freedom, courage, and American values. Go check out ninelineapparel.com for freedom-loving patriotic gear perfect for your family members, first responders, veterans, and active duty service members. When you're done selecting the amazing merchandise and apparel Nine Line has to offer, punch in the code ITB20, that's India Tango Bravo 20, for a 20% discount off your next purchase at ninelineapparel.com. VetTV is a streaming service created by veterans for veterans, with over 30 different series to choose from, including our new series Battle Lab that features special operations soldiers going head-to-head with the newest tactics and threats on the modern battlefield. Into the Breach listeners have an exclusive discount of paying $1 a month for the first 2 months of subscription with the code BREACH. So head on over to VetTV and type in BREACH at checkout to receive this incredible offer for your VetTV subscription. Thank you for listening, and now back to the show.
I'm 32 years old, and I remember Minecraft came out like long time ago. Mm-hmm. Like this was the first week I've ever played it, and it's literally all I've done.
Really?
I cannot stop digging holes, man. Digging holes and building stuff.
I legitimately, my niece is into it, and I know of Minecraft. I know of the world of Minecraft, but I don't know like how to play it. I like, it's like it's in the zeitgeist of like the world or culture, and I have no idea.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm playing with a couple buddies, and all I do, I've dug out like a football stadium worth of empty space underground. It's fun. It's calming and relaxing because like most of the games I play are like fast-paced shooters or like DayZ or Arma and stuff like that. Hell Let Loose, another big one. And it's just stressful, And then it's fun to just get on Minecraft with my little pickaxe and just chop away at rocks. It's fun.
Did you get on the Battlefield train?
For like 2 weeks.
Oh, okay, all right.
I think as I've gotten older, I've just enjoyed more like realistic games, like Arma. It's just more fun. I don't have time to play. I'm not as good as the sweats who live on Battlefield now. Or the same reason I left Call of Duty is it wasn't my scene anymore.
Yeah, that's very true. Battlefield, I love hopping in. There's definitely a lot of like son of a bitch, and Battlefield, especially when you run for 3 minutes and then you get sniped or get blown away.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy it. I hop on about once every 2 months or once a month for like an hour, and then I feel guilty because I'm like, you should be accomplishing things and not playing, 1 hour of Battlefield. Yeah.
How dare you?
I know, right? Yeah. And I was talking with Amanda, and she's just like, I'm just really proud of you for you do a lot of work, because I go to bed and we're in bed watching TV and I'm working on podcasts, or it's like I have to do that work on the off hours after the kids go to bed, either one, recording a podcast, or editing the reels and pumping them out and managing socials. So, or just getting an episode out on time,
Yeah, dude, I was actually thinking about that today at work. I was like, what does Ethan do for fun? Like, I feel like he's always just like, I feel like he's always working.
Yes, I am actually. It's been a blessing, and it's good, because of my career, like working at Vet TV, it's an awesome career. It's great fun. It's great move for my career as a cinematographer, filmmaker, to be a creative director for a streaming service. But I edit, like, even though I'm a creative director, I edit. Editing is probably 80% of my job, even though, it's technically not in it is in my job description. It's not, it is and it isn't, that's how we save money, we're all jack of all trades at the company. So I'm a very good editor. So it's like 8 hours a day editing. We have this Battle Lab seasons. We are bringing on more editors, but for the last 6 months was just head in the computer. And then it was like, oh, I gotta get this podcast. Okay, then I gotta do that after. And yeah, it's, I do take nights off though. And what I do for fun is legitimately, Amanda and we watched like the Hobbit series. We watched the Lord of the Rings extended edition.
Dude, that's so good.
It was awesome because she's never seen it. And I'm obviously a film nerd, and I have all the box sets, from the DVDs from like the 2000s. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is great. That takes about 2 weeks of our time, so yeah, that's marriage, but, dude, for my free time when I was a contractor, it was great because I'd work a week and then get paid enough to like not work for a month and a half. But then it's also the stress of like, am I going to get more work, and the podcast was doing well, but it wasn't paying for itself, but it wasn't, because that money goes to other bills, and you're like, so Amanda was much more thrilled to have a consistent salary. so she's probably, I always joke that she was more excited than I was to get a job. But
Isabel and I have been watching the new Game of Thrones, like Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Dude, it's so good. Like the end of episode 4, I've jumped up and down and like yelled at the TV exactly 2 times in my life.
Yeah.
One was, I think it's season 6, episode 9 of Game of Thrones, The Battle of the Bastards. And then the other time was episode 4 of Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. It's so good.
Really? So it doesn't go down. We're talking about culture now, life. It's going into our themes of Breaching with the Boys. So, when it comes to everyone talks about the Amazon series for Lord of the Rings. I can't remember what it was called. Elder Rings.
Rings of Power.
Rings of Power. Like how horrific and I hate saying woke, but you know what I mean? Like how insanely terrible it was. And I've heard that this new Game of Thrones series is like really awesome.
Yeah, well, the speaking on that, like even like the woke stuff in Rings of Power, like I can watch past that, right? It's like the thing with Lord of the Rings, it's like I believed that was a real place. All the costumes looked real. Like the best set piece costume I've ever seen is Aragorn when he's the ranger, because the clothing he's wearing, it looks like he's worn it for months, and in Rings of Power, you've got elves tramping around the woods for weeks, and they've still got like pristine white cloaks on and stuff, and like the metal just looked plasticky. It didn't look real, That's and the story sucked. Like
and that's and I think that's the thing.
And Rings of Power just sucked.
In general, it just sucked. Yeah. Well, that was the thing is like we talk about film essays on why 2000 films and films before digital look more real. And I think people they kind of got it in the wrong spot, where it's not about the digital film, like it's not about the cameras, but they're like, oh, it's the aesthetic of film. I was like, you can do film grain. That's not it. It's basically the overwhelming amount of CG that's put into films, and also just there's no calculations with it. You know, like Lord of the Rings. Rewatching that, I was just like, this is phenomenal. I mean, it's you know, this is crazy to say, 25 years old.
25 years, bro.
Which is, I don't even want to talk about that because I just hit my 20 year, actually we're past it now, my 20-year high school reunion. And I was a freshman in high school when the first Lord of the Rings came out. And it looks amazing, and it still looks amazing. But as a filmmaker, like, I look at it and everything is calculated, you know, like they just didn't shoot it willy nilly. Like the minute that they called them bigatures, that was always the bigatures. They look phenomenal. Like, the moves aren't, I think that's another thing too, is like, now this is all film nerd talk, but like the way cameras, like digital cameras, fly through the reality and space of the scene. Yeah. You know it's fake. Whereas, like, Lord of the Rings, everything is like, it's not fixed all the time, but when they move the camera, it felt like it was real. Yeah. You know, like, so if you're coming up on the big statues in the first film, it's just slow. You know, it's like they shot it with a helicopter, you know, like, it's believable. And you're just like, oh my God, it's awesome. It's just a wide master shot, and it just holds for like 5 seconds. And it's just like, you don't need to fly through space and like do crazy things. And and the same thing too, like, where did they shot it in New Zealand, you know? So all those masters, that's all real. Like, those wide shots, all of them are real. That was like before they started like putting landscapes in the background digitally. Like, they didn't do that in 2001. No. That's all real. And it looks amazing. I mean, and
all the miniatures and stuff they built for it. Yeah. And just the amount of effort. Like, I was talking to Isabel the other day. I was like, I'm sad for our future kids because they'll never get to experience like their Lord of the Rings. Yeah. You know, like, they can just watch mine.
Yeah, and I think about that a lot with movies. You know, my Finley's, she's about to turn 5, and next year we'll start. I think when she turns 6, that's when I'm going to start pushing the boundaries with Amanda and being like, hey, like, we got to watch Face Off soon, you know, or we got to watch Jurassic Park. You know, and it's scary.
That's
like,
another
Jurassic
great
Park
one.
is, you know, Jurassic Park. And it's just like Jurassic Park holds up. It's phenomenal. Like, I can't wait for her to watch Lord of the Rings. Like, watch these epics. Yeah. And even watching The Hobbit. The Hobbit came out in 2013. You can see when it's CGI takes over and it starts to lose its luster. Yeah. And you see that in the Hobbit series, which is 10 years removed. But it is, I agree with you. I think that's something that's just, you know, I don't know. You watch it and you're just like, this doesn't feel right. I mean, it's been a long time since I've like watched a film that's been recent, and it's been because we don't go to the theater often. That's just like, man, God, that was great. You know, like, that was so good. I think one of the last ones we saw in theater, which we were more entertained, was like Predator Badlands, but it wasn't like I was like, that's so good. It was fun to go see. You know, I know a lot of people shit on it, but it was fun to go see. Like, I went and I was like, I was entertained. I thought it was an okay movie, but at least it entertained me, and it was just fun to watch. And I was like, kudos. Like,
did you see Dune 2?
Yes.
What did you think of that?
It's really good. I think Denis Villeneuve is a bit overhyped, or however you pronounce his name, Denis Villeneuve or whatever. I think the Dune series is really good. It's a little, I don't know. It's still, I feel like it's overhyped. I think like Christopher Nolan films are a bit overhyped. I think he's overhyped. I think he's a really good director. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I think he's a great director. I think the films are overhyped. Dune, I think, is a very good. I have Dune. In fact, I've been doing this thing where I'm starting to get hard copies of films. So I've purchased Dune. I think in Dune 2 or one. I think I have those, but I'm just trying to get a collection built to keep them in a hard library, because streaming is starting to get real wonky. Yeah. But yeah, I like Dune. I thought Dune and Dune 2, I think they're really good movies. They're just not they don't feel as emotionally epic to me as Lord of the Rings. I think their character development is not as in depth as Lord of the Rings. I don't care about the characters as much as Lord of the Rings does. or as
yeah.
they just don't have as much personality. What's your take?
I loved Dune 2. Like Dune 1, it was all right because I read the first 3 books in high school, and then after that it started to get like really weird. And then I saw like the original movie that they made in the 80s, and it's what I call my nap time movie. So like when I come home and I like need to take like a 40-minute nap, I'll throw the first like the original Dune on.
Yeah.
And then just fall asleep to that just like nonsense going on in the background. But I loved him. Like when Paul Atreides like stood on top of the sandworm for the first time, I was hyped. I was like,
yeah, yep.
I love movies that I guess that make me feel something, and I felt like excited for Paul when that scene popped up in the movies.
Yes, that's and I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. Is like I think it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
There's those scenes where I'm like, God, that's great. Like it's good. It's so good. And there are parts where I was like, God, this is a good movie. It just doesn't have that same childhood like feeling like when I saw a lot of movies growing up. I think one of the ones that have kind of moved me, it's this, and it came out like 2 years ago, now probably a year ago, was A Quiet Place Day One. That was
good.
It's phenomenal. Like I for some reason that film is just like I love it. Like I love it. To me that belongs like that. It like
it's like a mantelpiece movie.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it's up there with 1917. It's up there with with like how you felt when you watched Face Off, how you felt when you watched Con Air. Like it doesn't mean it's the best film of all time, but it stands in the ether of the films that we love, and like I love that movie. Like A
Knight's Tale comes to my mind when you're talking about that. It's got everything.
It's got everything. And dude, I don't think I've seen that since like 8th grade. So
I rewatch it like every year, man.
Do you really?
Ledger, may he rest in peace. He killed it in that movie. All of them killed it.
Yeah, dude. I remember it. That's one that I have to rewatch. Like it's been a long time.
Do it. Do yourself a favor. Rewatch it.
Well, I remember it was great too as a kid. I mean, I said I was 13 years old. I was like, oh my god, all the girls in the class loved Heath Ledger. So they're like, oh my god, Heath Ledger. But no, I know, man. I feel like when it comes to that, with films like it's really hard to come across a piece that's just like, God, it's so good. TV's kind of the same way too. Yeah, I'll have to check out this new Game of Thrones series that you're talking about.
Oh, it's so good.
And there's been, I mean, like, you got your Landman. I think they're great. We like get into shows for like, a few episodes and they're really good. The writing's great. You kind of get hooked, but then it's like, all right, what's the next thing? And I think that's the advantage, the pros and cons to streaming is that there's too much, but at the same time, there's something for everybody and there's plenty of money to be made in it, but it's too much. And I think that's, it was inevitable. This was coming. COVID just put the nail in the coffin, but that whole Hollywood system, as much as everyone hates it or has, and I'm glad it's one of those things where it's like, I'm glad that, I don't know, say it's got its comeuppance, but there was an advantage to that, that pipeline, that funneling, love it or hate it. Those films that were being made were the best of the best, now you have a lot of mediocre filmmakers, and I'm not, I'll probably be one of them. Hopefully one day they give me, a few $1 million to make a movie. But it's, but when you made it and you broke into the theater system as an indie film or just making a studio film, like, again, love it or hate it, those films were the cream of the crop. There's a reason why the studio was taking risks and the studio was making those films. Now it's just a crapshoot, which is it's democratized, which is great. But at the same point, the quality is to find the films that we love and that we grew up with is going to be so few and far between. Like you said, Dune, Oppenheimer, everyone's just like, oh my God, these movies, it's like, what are those, like two a year? A Quiet Place Day One. Okay. Badlands, Predator. It's okay. It's a guilty pleasure, but it's not going on the mantle. I mean, it's not like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's like,
Yeah,
the Resident Evil movies, they're guilty pleasures. They're not like, man, this is peak cinema.
yeah.
But, yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Like, because going to the movies is like one of my favorite things to do. Just like the ceremony of it all. Like going out in public, like with my wife, we go to the movies. She gets her Diet Coke, I get my Coke. We each get a large popcorn, and we sit down and then like experience something with other people. And I usually judge. I usually withhold judgment of a movie for a couple days because like in my head it's always I judge how good a movie is by how much I think about it a day later, 2 days later, a week later, and it's like so much, like so many times in the last like 3-4 years we've gone to see a movie and then like 2 days later I'll forget what we even went to see.
Yeah.
Like Weapons was a really good one that I saw last year. I thought about that for weeks.
Yeah, Weapons was great. Love Weapons.
Of course, Dune. I'll stand on my soapbox and give Dune all the praise in the world. Just because I love the story. Like, it's awesome. I love the whole fallen hero trope. It's so great.
Yeah, it's
And
classic.
so many
dude.
people like got that ending mixed up. They're like, "Oh yeah, Paul Atreides." I'm like, "Oh, he's like the bad guy now." Like,
Yeah, exactly. Like
he's
you
literally
watch
like
it-
Hitler.
yeah. He's like, you kind of see that turn, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. And for us too, I guess, once you start having kids and stuff, it's like, for us to go out, that movie better be good. I feel like that's also kind of in generalities the filmmaking or like movies. Like if this movie's in the theater, it better be good because I'm about to go spend $15 a ticket, maybe 18.
And it's such a crapshoot now.
Oh, it is. It is. Yeah. And theaters too. Like we make it a whole night for us. Like, so we're gonna go dinner because we get, my mother-in-law typically is the one that watches. So we see, she has her days off. So we'll go on a Tuesday night. And so we go get, 2 drinks or a drink and we get dinner and then we go to a movie and then, we get popcorn at the movie and then hopefully the movie doesn't suck. So if I'm spending $100 some for that night,
Easily.
it's like, it better be good. And so there is a double-edged sword with that, I think, with filmmakers now. It's like, if you're dragging me to this movie, it better be good. So yes, it's a sea of films out there. There's way more to intake than there used to be. That means that better be awesome. Mm-hmm. And Weapons, I forgot again, Weapons was great. I totally forgot we saw Weapons. Weapons was awesome. We went and saw that in theater and I was like, oh my God, this movie's awesome. This movie's so good, and I was like, what's the twist? What's going to happen? But yeah, it was phenomenal. Like it was, yeah, I agree with you. And like I said, that's the thing too. I mean, you get, back in our day, before COVID and those, when I was in high school, like, yeah, the before time. Yeah, I like that. The before time. Dude, I'd go to the theater all the time, and they used to cram people in like sardines. I'm sure you remember that. Like crappy
no assigned
seats.
seating. It was just find a seat, bro. Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. It was $10, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's $10 a ticket! This is insane!" And then it was like crammed you in like sardines, like everything. So it was like the concessions were horrific. Everything, even the nice theaters weren't that great. But I know, and like I said, it's still a favorite pastime. But it's definitely it's crazy to see where it's going. And speaking of films, the last one that was really good that I watched was on Netflix. Was The Rip with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
Was it?
It was
seen
good.
That one yet.
It was a great cop thriller, like suspense action thriller, and it reminded me of the mid '90s, 2000s films. Like it's not going to win awards, but it's just a really great story, great acting, good action here and there. Suspense, and it's like, man, that would have been a really good theater movie. Granted, Matt Damon, Joe Carnahan directed it. He directed The Gray, Smoking Aces, a few other films, and Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are in it, so it's going to be good. But it is kind of that nice. You're like, oh, okay, all right, Netflix. I know Netflix has made other films, but you're kind of like, that's one that I've been like, okay, that should be in theater.
Yeah.
Like that's the one that should have been in theater for 2 weeks and then Netflix, But I get it. It's streaming. They want it on their platform. You know?
Exactly. So
yeah.
what I wish I had a time machine. No, what I wish is I had like pills I could take so I could like forget movies so I could just rewatch them.
Yeah.
With this, like, I would, oh my God, I would OD on Lord of the Rings. Just day after day. You'd never see me. I'd be like looking like Gollum after 6 months.
Like, I must rewatch my Precious.
Lord of the Rings, Precious.
Dude, that's pretty good, man. I dig that. Yeah, hell yeah. Oh my God. No, yeah. Yeah, man. I had a list here. We went on a tangent about films, which is I'm sure that'll be a common theme. We'll move films to the front of the.
Yeah, I'm a huge. I watch
podcast.
I watch at least one movie every day,
Yeah.
like while I'm working or doing something. Like at least one.
Yeah, yeah,
So.
yeah. John does that. He goes, I watch a movie every day, and I was like, I wish I could do that, but when I'm editing, I can't. Like if I'm doing creative editing,
much. Yeah,
I can't. It's a distraction. And so when I'm doing technical editing, like laying down graphics or working on mindless something, then I can run a movie in the background.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there's just so much out there now, you know. And so, but it is fun running into people. I'm like, have you seen this movie? You know, it's like from the 90s or 2000s, and they're just like, never seen it. And I'm like, oh man, those were the days when you were a cinephile and it actually meant something.
Yeah.
Like, you weren't killing yourself to be a cinephile, but you knew about other films coming in, like, you know, horror films or whatever, and like, oh yeah, that's a good one, and it's like a cult classic. Now it's like, I don't even think you can be a cinephile anymore. Like, I think this generation cinephiles are riding the wave of us. Like, you know, they're like, oh, Apocalypse Now, isn't that amazing? I'm like, okay, yeah, welcome to the club. Like, you know, like, oh yeah, you know, Boondock Saints. It's like you've missed the boat by like 30 years. You know, like there's no underground cinema going on right now. You know, like it doesn't feel like it used to feel, where it was like, oh, I didn't know about that, but it's a really good movie that, like, you know, no one knew about, like Train Spotting or 28 Days Later. You know, those were like indie films.
Yeah.
They were, you know, so if you saw them, you were a cinephile. You know, they don't make a lot of movie at the theater back in the day, but you're like, oh my God, yeah, that was awesome. Like, you know, you had your Star Wars, but then, you know, early episodes, and then you had those. But I don't know. I think it's almost impossible to be a cinephile. Try to keep up with all the crappy movies coming out, you know, on Netflix, and
It's just too much, man.
It's too much. I mean, like, think about the shows that come out. It's impossible to keep up. You know, like you can name a bunch right off your head. It's like Landman. You got the the Game of Thrones series. You know, and I know there's other ones I've seen advertisements for. I'm like, oh, that looks kind of good. You know, that even Amanda like watches. I was like, what are you watching? Bridgerton. You know, I don't watch.
My wife
shit.
watches Bridgerton. She enjoys it.
Well,
she's taking a break from her trash TV. She'll watch some Bridgerton.
Yeah. All right, sweet. So we covered life here. You could probably call it culture. This will be going to well, actually, we're reversing it right now. That's actually film. We talk film. All right, so let's go into OSINT. Anything new on the Ukraine front? Have you heard any from guys from the front? What's going on?
So Elon Musk just shut off Starlink for the Russians, and that was probably the biggest development lately in like the last 2 weeks that I've seen. I've been pretty busy with work and just like personal life. Like I said earlier, I've had the flu for a couple days, and so taking a small step back from chatting with guys in Ukraine. But Elon Musk, he shut off Starlink. And so there was like a little bit of overlap there with the Ukrainians because they needed their like Starlink modems to be whitelisted and stuff like that. So there were like a couple hours where like Ukrainians didn't have any internet connection. But the Russians are like super pissed off about it because they're realizing now that like all of their communications, like top to bottom, is through an internet provider of like their literal enemy, and he just shut it off on a whim, you know.
Really?
And yeah, so like I don't remember what the group is called, but their partisans in the Zaporizhia region are reporting that Russians are like blue on bluing each other all the time because they can't talk to each other. And now there's like a small, I would say, not so much a counteroffensive, but more just mopping up in the Zaporizhia region, where the Ukrainians are just pushing forward and just killing and capturing a bunch of Russians. You know, there's lots of videos coming out the last 2 weeks of Russians surrendering or being killed, and it's because they can't talk to each other. You know, like commands are not being relayed, stuff like that. And the Russians also just shut off Telegram as well. So like they banned Telegram,
wow.
like the main app that they used to talk to each other can't talk anymore.
Jeez.
I think the reasoning they gave was that it's like extremist activity within Russia, something like that. I don't know, but
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know. 'Cause obviously I knew Elon with the Starlink for Ukraine. He's expressed that on X. I knew Russians were using it, but I didn't realize they were using it to that extent.
yeah,
That's
they're using
news
it
to
just
me.
as much as the Ukrainians, I guess.
Wow.
And
okay.
like you've been there, like Starlink
Yeah.
is everywhere. Like if
Yeah.
you're talking on the front line, you're using Starlink, unless you want to die. But
Yeah. which is crazy to me. That I mean, it makes more sense for the Ukrainians to use it. You know what I mean? Because like Elon's clearly like aligned himself with them. You know, I mean, like I know he plays a little muddled game, but like
Yeah.
it's like, dude, like I didn't realize that the Russians were relying on it that much.
Yeah.
I had seen some of the posts though of the Russian drones attaching Starlink to their drones. And I think that was like a few days ago. I think that was right before he shut it off. I mean, I heard he shut it off, but I didn't realize
Yeah.
he shut it off for like, like I didn't realize they were so reliant on it.
Yeah, well, it was like a down Shahid or something like that with Starlink on it that went viral on the internet, and like that's how it got the attention of Elon Musk.
Yeah. Well, what's I mean, they have much on statistics on what's going on. I mean, it's insane how much they're chewing through guys, and it's you know what I mean. Like,
I think
obviously
in
they-
December it was like 35,000 killed.
yeah, which
Yeah,
is
someone-
unsustainable. I don't know.
Yeah. I saw
how-
a chart. I saw a chart recently. It was like yesterday or the day before, and it was like Russia in either January or February sustained the same amount of casualties in 1 month as they did in like 10 years in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And but that's the thing, is that they can keep sustaining it. You know, they've got a population like 4 or 5 times larger than Ukraine's, maybe even more, and they can just continue to afford to lose like thousands of dudes a month,
Yeah.
because it just drops in the bucket to them. Where it's really going to hurt Russia, I think, is like economically. So like destroying the oil refineries, like shutting down their shadow fleet, just making it impossible for Russia to pay for the war. Because they're in a war economy right now, and so that even then, like Russia can't really afford to just stop the war, because like the whole economy is being propped up through like arms production.
Yeah. Well, and it's the other thing too is like I think I was seeing Preston talking about it, which was they're doing the calculations on that. Like I said, 35,000 dead in one month, but also it was like a guy's one of his a father was talking about it to his son, and there's something like along those lines of like they were calculating how much it would take, or like how many brigades have been wiped out, and like they keep reforming them, and his son has been like a part of it, and they're like, oh no, like they're gonna go through 1 million, like it's gonna be like basically for them to take like whatever, it was gonna cost like 1 million guys, and
Yeah.
they were like, and they were running the math, they're like, holy shit, that's actually that's what it will take,
Yeah.
which is wildly devastating to any military. I mean, I know Russians are like they're putting on a front, but there's a point where you have to go, this is insanity.
I think in 2025 they captured 1% of Ukraine's territory.
Yeah.
Like
Yep, heard that.
1% for like 100,000 dudes dead, and then however many hundreds more thousand wounded. Like,
Yeah.
dude,
And it's not, and the wounded too, by the way, they're not like, oh yeah, we got some shrapnel. like the wounded, I mean, with those FPVs, man, you're surviving those things. You ain't coming back to the front. Those are some serious casualty numbers.
yeah, I remember seeing a bunch of casualties in Pokrovsk that were at the stabilization point that I was at. And, like, they were just all so, like, horrifically wounded. It would be like months of rehabilitation. And then you see, like, Russians who are wounded, like, back on the front, like guys in crutches.
Yeah.
You know, there's plenty of videos of that, or like pictures of them in a truck complaining, like, we're all on crutches, you know, and we're going back to the front line.
But they don't have food. That's the one I've seen. They like capture them. They're like, I haven't ate in 3 days.
Yeah.
And they're like, holy shit.
Yeah,
You know?
I saw a video on Telegram today of a Russian, like, looking through one of their ration packs that expired in, like, 2022. And he's like, they expect me to eat this? It's like, this is bullshit. And then he just, like, threw it across the trench.
Yeah. There was a side note. I ate expired MREs, which I didn't realize could expire. And so MREs can expire after like 3 years. And we had a bunch of expired MREs when we did the push into Lihib in Iraq, my second deployment, and they had like a bunch of black spots on everything. and there was pallets. And we were with Recon and Tank Battalion, and we were about to push across the river, and they're like, hey, our food's over there. And we're like, okay, cool, we'll load up on our... dude, the only thing that was edible, I think, was peanut butter. I think that was the only thing that you could open up, and like, it didn't have any...
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. So we ended up just eating a bunch of peanut butter. I mean, luckily the op didn't last super long, and they got us some fresh stuff within like a few days, but it was like... Dude, are you serious? And I was like, I didn't think MREs could expire, and I found out real quick that they can expire. You know, but I mean, that's the thing too, though. In Ukraine, though, it's like, it's wild that those guys, they're not getting fed, they're not getting the equipment, and they're just absolutely getting. I think too, the tactics that we talk about. I mean, we could talk as it blue in the face, but it's like the way they just send out guys to the middle of like to run across fields.
Yeah,
like, dude, you know what I mean? Like, just the fact that they're not. Now, I don't know much about the Ukrainian. You know, I feel like Ukrainians actually care about their soldiers. It's like, all right, man, like, don't run across the field.
Much more so. I mean, there's situations where they have to.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and like, people are gonna die. Like, just rotating guys in and out. Like, units can suffer 50% casualties during that time. And that's most of the casualties do happen on the Ukrainian side during rotations. And so it's you're going to positions or you're going away from them. Like, you can sit on position for weeks and everybody's fine. And then as soon as it's time to rotate off, that's when the drones are out and you get hit.
Yeah.
Like when I was in Pokrovsk, like, the most scared I was infill and exfil.
Yeah. Which is nuts. That's a whole, yeah.
Yeah, and then we were watching dudes at night on the Russian side try to cross a field, some of them without rifles, you know, just going to the forwardmost trenches from like the second or third line back, and they're just getting struck by drones, sometimes stepping over the bodies of their own guys, you know, and it was insanity. Yeah. I could not believe it when I was there.
And the other thing too is like, they're not well trained. You know what I mean? So you have all that happening. It's not like, oh man, their infantry school though is real top notch. You know, it's like they're basically rounding them up and throwing them to the front.
Yeah, like, a good example of that is just like, we were with one of the reconnaissance drone teams, and we just watched this dude just walking down the middle of the road. Like, he could have gone through like backyards or through buildings, stuff like that. He was literally in the middle of the road, just walking with his rifle and his pack. Yeah, there's like no survival instinct. You know.
No. Yeah, that's, I mean, like I said, it's wild. That's on the Ukraine front. You know, it's like I said, that's always. I don't know if have you heard anything with any type of peace process at all? I mean, every time they try to do something, it's always like back and forth. It's just like whatever.
Putin will do whatever he can to appear like he wants peace, you know, so he can keep Trump on his good side, and then do something to derail the talks or just escalate the demands, you know, that are just ridiculous. Yeah, I think the Ukrainians have like agreed to most of the peace plans or the ceasefires, and the Russians like haven't agreed to any but their own one that they've made, and their demands are just ridiculous. It's a surrender, basically.
It's a surrender, yeah. And it's like, we also want these territories that they haven't even taken. Yeah, like we're not just gonna hand you those.
No, you're gonna lose a million more guys if you want that. So
yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's wild. Have you got any information on what's going on in Iran? I mean, I know
just passing, like, that's not an area where I know a lot of people or have a lot of lines in the water, but that was crazy watching that like unfold on Telegram and the news. just nut. I thought there was like a day or two there where I was like, oh shit, the regime's gonna fall.
Yeah, me
And
too. Yep.
I
And
wish it did, but
yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know if the window has been closed. You know what I mean? Like
people are still upset.
Yeah.
There's still stuff going on. It was like the Iranian like Independence Day, like yesterday or today, and I saw people like burning effigies of someone. You know, I don't know. Like I'm not like super well versed on what's going on in Iran, but
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking too. Is I think, I mean, there's confirmed 12,000 dead, like for protesting, which is wild. Like
Yeah.
just shot, and then estimates are up to 20,000. But we're moving our carriers over. I just saw today that there was Israel and the U.S. were talking with the Iranians, and it's just like it. I don't know. It feels like you're like. So I feel like a move's going to be made here, and it's not. It's not like we can't. I mean, we bombed their nuclear facility untouched.
oh, we're extremely capable
Yeah.
of doing it.
Exactly. And it's like, what is that move? And it's, look, talk about Venezuela too. It's like, and I understand a little bit of hesitancy in Iran. Like, what does that power vacuum look like if we took out the top brass? Or if the Ayatollah, just like Assad in Syria, books it to Russia, or whatever. Like, even if the Ayatollah books it out and we take out a bunch of higher up leadership, what's that power vacuum look like?
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's a shitload of crazies still within Iran, whereas Venezuela was very calculated intelligence on the ground. That chick that's taking, this is how, versed I am. That chick that's taking over, that was like his number two. Whatever, she's playing ball, but she was also essentially a part of the whole, kind of a part of that operation too.
She's a bad guy,
Yeah.
Just a bad guy playing nice.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's still like it's a little bit more of our puppet opposed to Maduro. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and there isn't a power vacuum happening right now. Some people bring it up. They're like, oh, some people are getting killed. They're like, yeah, it's fucking Venezuela. Like, what else is new? But they haven't seen like a full collapse,
No.
Whereas Iran is just, I don't know. That's
the entire structure of the country would change.
Yes.
In Iran.
Yeah.
That would be crazy to see.
It would be great. I mean, and it's the other thing too. But I think they also have a lot more people willing to fight for it if they given the tools. And like we've heard some stuff with Israel, like Mossad helping possibly ship weapons in. But again, it obviously has to be at the cue of the U.S. because we're the one that's going to be like, hey,
I guess we'll see though, man. Like it could be happening right now. That's the crazy thing. That's the crazy thing about all of this is it just appears to like happen so suddenly. Like the Maduro raid. I remember just going to bed, waking up, and then being like, oh, we just did regime change like in the last 5 hours.
I know, yeah, exactly. Like it was like woke
we kidnapped the president of Venezuela.
Yeah,
and none of our guys got hurt.
Yep, no one was killed. We killed 80 of their dudes. And yeah, and it's just, I mean, that was definitely like a chest pound USA moment. It was kind of like everyone's waiting a few minutes, or a few hours to be like, did we fuck up? Is there a power vacuum? And then like none of that happened. We're like, holy shit, did he just pull off a full
this went so much better than Iraq.
yeah, it's like this went really smooth, So it's still like, knock on wood, you're like, it's been a few weeks, it's still running kind of smooth, like holy shit. Yeah.
Dude, the memes are the best part that came out of that.
Oh, it's the best, yeah.
Like
it was great. It was
I love modern culture now with I wish we could give history memes, you know what I'm saying? So like what would the meme culture have to say about like the American Civil War, or like the end of that where like the rebels were surrendering? Like what would the memes have been like that back then?
Exactly, yeah. Yep. And else it's talk about the memes too of like Hiroshima.
Oh yeah.
Which, by the way, we kind of get some of those memes, like now. I mean, we get it
because it's within living memory still.
Yeah, exactly. But I agree with you. Yeah, what would be the American Revolution meme war? Meme war of 1776. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But no, I agree with you. I think the Iran stuff, and like I said, they've moved carriers over in the last 48 hours, 72 hours. Like that's like real stuff. I was talking with Adam Schwarzy. He's a former Marine infantry invasion Najaf vet, then went to became a Navy SEAL officer. He went MECEP and then became a SEAL officer. And then he worked on some no-fail missions. Not dev. Well, we were talking about it on the first time he came on the podcast. But he did some pretty high-end mission. Like they planned for 2 years for these things. Like very under the radar stuff with like mini subs and all that stuff. Yeah, like into
That's
like
so
some.
Cool.
It's
Call of
it's
Duty
like
4, like Modern Warfare 2 missions.
Yeah, exactly. Like these are like, he didn't even get into the detail. I'm just like assuming, these are like in Asian waters, like China, North Korea, under the, like I said, they have to be no fail. Like they cannot, they're like the way that these things are designed and what he did and what he saw, like, so it was pretty cool. But I had him on 2 days ago and he's running for Minnesota U.S. Senate as a GOP, as a Senate challenger.
Good luck to him.
Yeah, it was a good conversation. It comes out in a week and a half, so actually very good. It sounds a little bit promising, for Minnesota. We'll actually see how it shakes out in the midterms, but clearly we've been in the headlines for the last few months.
Dude,
yeah, right. And so, but yeah, so. We were talking a little bit about, hey, what's going on in Iran? And he's just like, yeah, they're moving stuff. He's like, they don't do that for nothing. So it'll be interesting to see how things unfold in the next like week, especially when it comes to Iran. Like I said, Venezuela though, it seems like everything's running smooth. I was talking with some connects though that Chris hooked me up with, Naganuma. Some guys are heading over to Kurdistan to help with the Kurdish forces right now. Under the, or say not mercenaries, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
War fighters, whatever you want to call them. Guys that are doing it for the love
cool
of the
guys.
game. That's a whole situation too with Syria and the Kurds. That's again another geopolitical area. Syrian president is a guy that we were hunting down for like 20 years, and now he's the president.
Now he's the president of Syria.
Yeah, it's insane, and they're killing off Christians and doing other stuff, and so there's like this the Kurd. Oh, that was the thing too, is the Kurdistani men were flowing over the border to go fight. And again,
I saw that video. There were like hundreds of them.
Yep. Yeah, it's like they're fighting HTS, right? And this is where everything gets totally muddled. I don't know who's fighting who, and the Kurdistanis they're in different regions, they fight as kind of like one, but like, it's like, okay, who are you fighting? Are you fighting the Syrian government? But then the Syrian government's like, we're not fighting them, but we have our proxy arm that's ISIS, former ISIS. But then it's all insane to try to keep those straight. But then you got Burma, man. Burma's still riding under the radar. Biggest civil war in like 50 years.
Yeah.
And still cruising
That's
along.
a place I'd like to go next.
Yes.
After Ukraine is done, I would really like to go to Burma.
I've been trying to go, and now we're swamped. And the window of opportunity is basically closing. Like, you got till about March. It's like, I think it's like December to March. And it's picked up, the fighting's picked up a lot. I talked with Luke Ryan, and I was talking with his dad, or he was telling his dad was talking to him. It was like, hey, like they're the fighter. He's like, they're bombing a lot more. He's like, they're trying to hit clinics in the jungles, which they've never tried to do before. They're starting to get desperate, the government, which is interesting to see how that kind of plays out as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Yeah. It's insane. And then, we might take Greenland. So,
dude, I don't know what way is up with that. Like, I don't get it personally. Like, we can do everything that we want there already.
I guess it's pretty strategic.
Is it for minerals, or is it like a super secret play to get NATO to increase defense spending? Like, I don't know. It's something I'm so confused about, because it just seemed like such a joke the first time he suggested it.
Yeah.
Where it's like, Greenland, like, they're in NATO. They're like our ally. Like, Like, what are you talking?
Yeah.
It'd be like, okay, guys, we're gonna invade Canada now. I'd be like, what? Actually,
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Like,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
I hear Kyle Broflovsky's voice in my head from
Yeah.
South Park, where he's like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. And I think so too. I mean, I think it's just strategic. I wish we're not invading it, but we could if we wanted. We take it.
Well, we could invade literally anybody.
Yeah, yeah.
We wanted
Especially
to.
like I said, that momentum from the Maduro raid. I think we're feeling real, ballsy.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you saw what we did there. There's like 5 of you on the island, and the Dutch barely know what's going on there.
But
Yeah,
that does change the game for everybody else, though. Now, is my only qualm with that is now who's to say like the Chinese can't be like the Japanese president is a criminal, and we're gonna go in and there's nothing you guys can do because the United States did it.
yeah,
Like that's the only thing is it kind of changes the status quo and like the understanding of international like rules that we've set down. Like I'm a big believer in like war it's like a horrible thing. Like rules are oftentimes a hindrance to conducting war. But like the world like we've kind of built is built on rules, and now it's like we're changing that
yeah.
for whatever reason. I'm not quite sure where I'm going with this. So
Yeah.
I've still got flu brain going on. So
No, I agree with you at that, and I think, we were doing proxy wars since like World War II is the last land grab, or at least kind of, but the rest were proxy wars after that. I mean, you still have the Rhodesian Bush War, you still have other smaller scale stuff, Vietnam. It's not we weren't doing a land grab, but you had those the smaller Middle Eastern countries that Iraq invades Iran or something like that, however that played out, or they invaded Kuwait in '91, the first Persian Gulf War. And I think, and again, in the spec of human history, the last not even 100, last 80 years has been the least expansionist, and that's the argument that I've heard, which I honestly I don't mind. It's kind of like everything can get shaken, and like the world we live in now is not the default setting. Default setting is in the countries that are in shambles. You know what I mean? In shambles. Like this is an anomaly that we live in, and it's good.
Default setting is Russia and Ukraine right now.
Exactly.
Like we
that's
want the
default
Donbass.
setting.
We're just going to take it. That's been the status quo through most of history.
Exactly.
These rules that we've built now, that's not okay. You can't just invade a country and kill people just because you want it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're kind of changing that now.
Yep. And
back to the default.
Yep. And I agree with you because you look at Ukraine war, that woke up Europe because Europe's like, okay,
and they needed that wake up.
Yeah, they needed it too.
Let's be real.
I agree with you because, by the way, Russia can take Estonia if they want. Who gives a fuck if it belongs? The only reason they haven't taken Estonia is because it's part of the UN.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the only reason. Yeah, it's otherwise it would be. I mean, Estonia is like a thumbprint compared to Ukraine, and they have issues with that. I believe it was Estonia. That's our sister. Yeah, it was our sister unit here in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. So we send guys to Estonia all the time from the Minnesota National Guard, and
that's pretty cool.
They're like they get cyber attacked all the time. I know. I was trying to get on one of those rotations for like a week, but they cyber attack Estonia constantly, and the only reason they exist is because of NATO. Because it's like they don't even have the man. I mean, like Ukraine has got the territory and manpower. Estonia has no territory. Like that'd be like a 48-hour fight, and it's kind of like
it would be.
It would be. It's like Georgia. Georgia. I mean, you think about like
2008 Georgia war.
Yeah. Ukraine has at least some advantages, but I agree. It's a big wake up call for Europe, and I think with the Maduro raid, the Greenland expansion, and I agree with you. You're bucking the norms of the last 40 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've lived in this world where, it's unwritten rules have, like, oh, hey, we don't do that. That's not our customs. Like on the world stage. But But I've seen the argument though too. It's like, look, empires are either expanding or contracting.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a decent argument, especially with like Greenland. You know, I'm like, yeah, if we want it, we'll take it. You know, or not. You know, I mean, it's a bit American machismo, but at the same point, it's not like we're like massacring the Greenlanders and like, you know what I mean, and like, haha, we're taking this for whatever. You know, it's. I mean, we're building military bases there anyways. Like the deal was struck, you know, already. We're using their resources. It's a deal that completely works in our favor. It's not our country, but we're gonna harvest its resources, build a crap load of bases, and then control those waterways. I believe that was the deal that was struck, was it not?
After World War II, I think so.
Well,
yeah.
no, I mean like recently, like in the last like month, to avoid.
I'm
like,
pretty sure it's just the same deal. It's just we're re-recognizing it.
Yeah. Well, I think we're just like, because I think we're pumping more stuff into it, and like, and they're just, you know, otherwise we're trying to buy it, you know, and again, it's like,
there are legitimate national defense concerns for that area. Like it is the shortest path for ballistic missiles from Russia to the United States. Like people like looking at the map in a book. And they're like, oh, they got to go all the way across the Pacific or all the way across the Atlantic. Like the Earth is a globe. Russia is our literal neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, Alaska, like 10 miles away.
Yeah, I think you can stand on an island in Alaska and see Russia.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you can. And like I said, I think that's kind of the play. You know, it's like, hey, we'll buy you. You know, obviously it's uproar. The Greenlanders want their own thing, and like, look, niceties. We're still kind of respecting that not the culture, like like we were just talking about the social norms. Of not raiding you and pillaging and wiping you completely off the map. And we could do it in a heartbeat. And
or an occupation.
Exactly, an occupation. And flood you with, believe me, there's plenty of Americans that you could in place 100,000 Americans there, and they'd be like, okay, let's give it a shot, you know?
Moving to Greenland,
yeah, just be like, no taxes, make it a Florida, no state tax, whatever, or make it a territory like Puerto Rico, you know, lower tax rate, kind of sucks, but we'll get the infrastructure in. It'll be kind of a fun place to go, whatever, you know. But yeah, I mean, we still have that cultural, some of the cultural norms, but so that we're not doing that. So, but again, though, it's a decent argument of like, yeah, man, like, I don't know, obviously don't invade, you know, for like in Greenland and kill a bunch of people. And just I prefer the way they're doing it now. You know,
an invasion seemed very unnecessary. Just striking a deal. Yeah. And like building bases, resource extraction, you know, just the on paper legal way to do it that we've been doing since I've been alive.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? I just don't want to piss off our allies I guess the best way.
Well, yeah. It pissed them off, but at the same point, they need us so badly. You know, again, we talked about
Undoubtedly,
like the whole eyes of like Europe opening their eyes, like, and like I've told people this because they're like, well, what do the Ukrainians think of Americans or of Trump? I'm like, well, they're not a fan of Trump, but they love America. I was like, they don't exist without us. They don't, because we give the weapons to Europe. Europe gives them the weapons, or we give them the weapons directly.
I saw someone in my Instagram comments made a good point about like driving them away from us and into the arms of China. You know, because like China has historically not been very expansionist. You know, like they took Tibet, they want Taiwan, but like reasonable arguments could be made that Taiwan is Chinese. You know, the debate there is not like, is it China? It's just, where does that seat of the Chinese government sit? Is it in Beijing or is it in China? Because both are claiming to be the legitimate government. You know, but like other than those, it's like they're not a Russia, you know, like aggressively expanding into their neighbors. I think the last war they were in was in a border skirmish with Vietnam in like the 70s or 80s. So that would be my only like real concern, would be the like a more favorable opinion of the Chinese government compared to the United States, because like with China, you know what you're getting. You know, with American politics, we can see the difference in a year. You know, like this time last year, two different Americas, two different goals. You know, but with the Chinese, you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's very true. And like I said, they have their own, the Belt and Road initiatives. They've been funneling proxy wars, or at least influencing.
Yeah.
And honestly, like
as
that's the thing too.
Every country does, and that's the thing is everyone's like, oh, like the United States and their expansionist ways. It's like every single country on the face of the earth puts their country first. They try to get their horse further along in the race. Like don't be like so upset that the United States just has the biggest and fastest horse at the moment.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. Yeah. No, the biggest and fastest horse that can snatch up your president overnight.
Yeah.
It's a pretty sweet horse.
He's going to steal the jockey off your horse.
yeah. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think that's a good point too. And I, like I said, when it comes to that, you are like, I think, the whole global trading and all that kind of stuff, you are at the mercy of, like when COVID hit, you have like, why is everything made in China? Obviously it's cheaper, we offshored. I mean, that's capitalism, name of the game. It builds economies, strips away some things, boosts up others, That's why we have TV. I bought an 85-inch TV for fucking, $800. It's
crazy.
It's crazy. Or you can go to Walmart and buy one for $400 if you want, but I do think there are advantages. And again, I think, Americans, we want everything fast, cheap, and effective. And I feel like I agree with you with the China stuff, that they're a big part of that. But you can feel there's a shift too now of like, hey, we need to put things back in America.
Yeah, which I agree with.
Which I agree with. A
we
lot
need
of
to be able
industries.
to be independent, produce things domestically like we used to.
And I'm not saying you have to bring back like, it's not, you're not bringing back the factory lines for workers. I mean, what I mean? Like robots already do that if they are back, but shoring up, silicon chips and, right now we're short on RAM, DDR RAM or whatever. Everyone's bitching about that right now.
Isn't that because of AI?
Yeah. That's because of AI. Yeah. Which I think is, I don't want to say it's overhyped, but I think it's a bit overhyped on some aspects. My biggest thing, honestly, I think the biggest disruptor, which I don't know if it's on a lot of people's radars, but I think the new Tesla robot is the next massive disruptor over AI.
Really?
AI drives that software, but they work hand in hand. But I see a lot of, like Amanda, my wife works in, for a company, and it's like, they're like, oh, try to use AI more for research and analysis. And it always fails. Or you have to recheck your work anyways. So it's a tool in the toolbox, and people are trying to rely on it to be like, oh, this will just replace our workers. It doesn't replace your workers.
No.
But when it comes to manual labor, that truly, like seeing the Optimus robot and the way Elon Musk described it on Rogan probably about 2-3 months ago, that to me is the next step. That is, and not in a bad way, but I'm not a universal income guy, but that could make me think twice, because once those robots become very proficient in the next 10 to 15 years, and it's not like a pipe dream that we're living in like 1985 and we see like some Honda robot. They're like, oh my God, in 5 years everyone will have one. Everyone will have one. People will have one. Like $20,000 right now for higher income families, that's not a lot. Like you can, how much is your car, right? I just, would you pull out a loan for your $40,000 car, your $30,000 car? What's stopping you from pulling? Like everyone thinks it's going to be the rich. It's not, and then when they're used, you can pick up a used one, right? So now suddenly, once they get the ambidextrous down and they get
Yeah, every
AI.
family's gonna have at least one. You know, the family car
Yeah.
and the family robot.
Exactly. Like seriously, think about that. Like mows the lawn, cleans the house. Cleaners, that industry's gone. Why would you ever pay $300 a month or whatever? You now have a robot that cleans 24/7.
Yeah, I'm already paying $350 a month for this robot. You know, he might as well
Exactly.
do the landscaping.
Yeah, exactly. While when you're done cleaning, go mow the lawn. Okay, when you're not mowing the lawn, go take out the trash. Go, again, and there's going to be things that you didn't think they could do. But in my opinion, it might sound like a dipshit, but I think those are going to be the next. That's going to be the next biggest disruptor. Like the FPV, like machine guns were to World War I, and FPV drones are to modern warfare. Optimus robots will be the next computer.
Yeah, I've seen all the Terminator movies many times, and it is for that reason I always tell AI thank you.
Yeah,
when it's done. Like ChatGPT, thank you. Hey Siri, thank you.
Hey, thank you so much. Yeah. No, I agree, and I think that's in my opinion, that's going to be the next disruptor. Those are those. And like I said, I'm not a big universal income guy, but I feel like those robots are going to be like the next big thing because that takes away. Amazon's laying off 16,000 workers, right? Mm-hmm. Well, because that's all automated, and they're not like worker robots the way we think they are. They're just robots that shift packaging. Mm-hmm. That's 16,000 jobs gone, and which fine, But you think about think about farming, right? Like all the illegal workforce that we have. What happens when they're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for these giant machines, right? To for harvesting. What's $20,000 per robot? Getting $200,000 worth of, Juan Carlos robots running around your proper, your farm, and so you're just like, oh, okay, and they work 24/7. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, think about that. It's like that's I just thought of that right now. They work 24/7.
Yeah, no breaks.
No breaks. You can charge them.
You got to charge.
Yeah. I mean, that productivity will go through the roof, but then it comes down to, I think they came out with that stat that Gen Z is dumber. They have the lower IQ than any previous generation. And it's not because it's lack of access to information, it's just how they process. Like they're not retaining intelligence
It's
like
the
how
iPad
we do.
kids, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, the
attention span is not there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just not there.
And my daughter, we don't let her. She was on not iPad. We let her watch movies a lot on her iPad for a little bit, for probably a few months. We're like, we got to stop this. So we stopped doing it. And this was probably a year or two ago. And she was pretty young, so it wasn't like anything detrimental.
Yeah.
But it's like a treat. We're like, okay, if we're watching a movie and we have guests over, you can watch your iPad for a few minutes or an hour. Or on a trip, we're going on a cruise, so she gets to watch her iPad because it's a vacation, so she can watch it going to and from, on the airplane. Or when you're going to bed at night, you can watch a show, whatever. But we don't do it,
just unlimited, unrestricted access.
Yeah, we had her. There was one time we let her watch it at night, and it was only for a week. And right away, we're like, we're not doing that. We can't do this. Even though this is convenient, she passes out while watching an iPad. That's horrific. We were like, that's terrible. Mm-hmm. And so, we nipped that in the butt right away. But it's like it's not her fault, but because technology works so fast, it's like they don't have patience. Like I'm literally playing a song for her, K-pop Demon Hunter song she loves. Yeah. And she's like, can you play it now, Dad? Dad, can you play it? And she's so used to it that I can just click on it. And it's so fast, and it's not her fault. But it's like we grew up with patience. We grew up with the fact that we could burn CDs.
Dial-up internet.
Yeah, exactly. Dial-up internet, rewinding VHS tapes, or you had to wait between commercials. That's a big running joke, but it is. You had to wait between commercials. Oh, by the way, I watched AMC, right? And it's growing up as a kid, that's how I became a little bit of a cinephile. So on weekends or during the week, it's like, all right, well, Predator's on, or this movie I haven't seen, Seven, or some movie they're in classic cinema. It's like, okay, I have to sit down from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. So I sit there, and because that's the only time it'll play.
Yeah, exactly.
And if I want to ingest this, I can. And she doesn't have that. She doesn't even know what a radio is. I was like, she's like, what's this? And I was like, it's a radio. She goes, can you change the song? I was like, no. Like, this is the song we're listening to.
It chooses for you.
Exactly. My
you gotta listen to
iPhone,
the whole thing.
yeah, it ran out of battery. And so I was like, we're listening to the radio. And she's like, what's this? I was like, it's the radio. And she's like, oh, you can't change this. I was like, no, this is just what we're listening to. I don't, it was like KS95 or something, but it was like, anyways, but yeah, it's kind of crazy seeing that, because you should think that they would be the most intelligent generation because they have access to so much information, but they're just not retaining it, And I agree with you. You're kind of in that field. I mean, what's your full take on that?
So I work with like neurodivergent kids with autism, and so my perception on it is probably pretty warped compared to just kids without autism. So I'll leave my opinions to myself for now. But I did work at a high school, with normal functioning kids, and even like 5 years ago, I could be like, these kids are so screwed. Like, if they can't Google the answer, like if they don't know how to research or like search for the answers themselves, it's got to be instant access, like a calculator, like doing simple multiplication or just like basic spelling, where it's like autocorrect isn't correcting what you're typing on like your computer, they don't have Grammarly. Yeah. So I was shocked. Yeah. Because like, I feel like I remember high school like it was pretty recent, and I remember it wasn't like this. Like, I thought I was the dumb kid back then, and it's like, you guys can't even like, you don't know how to like look something up in an encyclopedia or a dictionary. Yeah. Yeah. It's the desire to seek information is just not there. If they can't get it right now, they just move on to the next thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like, I was like, of course, I was younger, and I remember using the internet, and it wasn't very proficient. So it was like,
you had to be very specific.
Yep, exactly.
About something you were looking for on the internet back, even like 10 years ago.
Yes, yeah. Everybody thinks Google existed, like it's in its form, like back in like.
No, I remember Google and
Yeah. I remember Yahoo. Yahoo was the dominant one. I was in high school, and even then it was like, okay, like you still had it. Things were. We had DSL, so it was great. It was a little faster, but it was you still couldn't find specific things. It was you still had to really search things out. YouTube wasn't a thing, so I agree. And I think it's the thing I've talked with my wife is just like, how do we raise her to because honestly, she's going to be if you raise your kid right. Like, I feel like we dodged a bullet a little bit because we're older. The experiment on these kids, like. Guys of my buddies that had kids right away. I have buddies that their kids are graduating high school, and my niece is graduating high school right now. Like, and I'm like, oh man, like if I would have had kids, I could be free right now. Yeah, but I'd be in a different world, different life. But like, if I had gotten married at 18 and pumped out a kid at 19, 20, yeah, it was, if like we take those lessons, like don't do this, like. As parents, I think, if you just teach your kid like hard work and research, like research might be the next thing. It's just like, no, go over to the encyclopedia and
figure it out.
Open the page, and I want you to read for the next hour. Like, your kid's going to be like a genius, you know what I mean? Or you're like, my kid's going to make it, like
Idiocracy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and it's like, it's sad that the lowest rung that was like our baseline expectancy of our generation growing up is now like, oh my God, if you can do that, you're going places, like, and who knows, like, God, what did they do? They were taking away, phones. They're starting to take away phones, which is good. Again, kind of, we're getting lucky. They've burnt through the bad shit already, and they've realized this isn't good. So a lot of schools are doing that. Public schools are slowly getting to that point.
Yeah, the school I worked at, they still had phones and stuff like that. But
yeah, like private schools though, they're like, you're done. Like the phone stays in the locker all day. Like you might access it between class, but that's it. And you know, and obviously it's private school, so the parents are probably much more in control,
Yeah.
you know, of their kids or how things are done or whatever. Public schools, they're just like, it's not even a discipline thing. They just straight up said these kids are addicted. You're dealing with crack addicts. Like, that's how bad it is.
Literally.
Like, literally crack addicts.
Literally.
Like, the dopamine that they need from that is dealing with drug addiction. And so it's not even have to do with discipline anymore. It's about drug addiction, which is, holy shit, you know, that's a whole nother issue in itself. So anyway, so I dodged that with my kids.
Good for you, man.
So
I was gonna say, I've met your daughter a couple times now. She's pretty well behaved too.
well, I instill the discipline. I am, yeah.
She's pretty well behaved for a kid her age.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
A lot of people have said that, and we didn't know who was
She's
gonna.
polite too.
Yes,
I heard lots of pleases and lots of thank yous.
yes. That's daddy
And
doesn't
lots of
tolerate.
questions, not demands, as well.
Yes.
That's the other.
Yes.
That's the big thing with the kids I work with.
Yeah, and that's the thing I've kind of instilled into her a little bit because I'm very much like that. Like, I don't know. Like my wife's, you know, we didn't know who was going to be the disciplinarian. Like, I was like, man, how are we going to? You know, like right away, I was like stepped in. You know, it's like the Marine Corps came out of me.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm very much like, yeah, I say to her all the time, like, what do you say? Like, you know, because as her parent, she, you know, she does it, but it's like, if she does it with other parents, like, thank you, please, that's what it counts. You
Yeah.
know, when a guest comes over. Because with you, they're comfortable. So they'll kind of blow you off or they'll,
Yeah.
okay, dad. You know, I'm starting to get that, like, oh, dad, you know, and it's like, you know, and she's a kid. So you can't be like, what the fuck did you say to me? You know, like, can't like freak out on her, you know, like she's a private, you know, like in your platoon, you know, what'd you say to me? You know, but there has been times though when she does do it and it's definitely like pushing the boundaries and I lock her in. I feel bad sometimes, you know, it's like scary me comes out a little bit where it's like, no, this is a house of discipline, you know. But it's not enough though to like, you know, once in a while my man is like, tone it down, you know, or just like, or we're in public because I'll do that to her like at a restaurant. She's like, Ethan, lower your voice, you know. And I'm like mad because I'm like, I'm disciplining my kid right now, you know, like. But yeah.
Don't question me in front of the troops.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. So, but anyways, but no, yeah, I agree. I think that's one of the disciplining and, you know, I can't stand like, and like, you know, she's picking up stuff from the other kids in class. And I'm like, I know you picked that up from that kid, you know, like I've seen how they work, you know? But yeah, that thing, you know, there's not, all you can do is give them guidance and, you know.
Yeah.
But the please and thank yous go a long way, and she's, you know, all the teachers love her, you know. So it's just my son is getting his personality, but he's gonna be a
He's
handful.
big.
Dude, he's a tank.
He's gonna be a football player easily.
He's got anger too. He's got anger. He hits it. He hits and throws things. He's got a big smile though.
I like machine gun.
Oh my god, yeah, he's a 240 gunner. Like, yeah. And he hits his head on things when he gets mad, but he knows it hurts. So like he'll go up to something, he'll just like tap it, and then like, so he like fakes it now because he's done it like full hog, and he'll go bah, and like oh, and he just goes like you could tell he like didn't realize it was gonna hurt that much.
Yeah.
So he like poses with it. He'll like go up to something and just go, and he'll like make a noise to go, you know, and when he gets upset. So I guess we got a kid that like throws punches and hits his own head, you know. So like I have to like put my hand between his forehead and he'll try. I was like, stop it, Archie, stop, you know. But anyways, all right, cool. So we're gonna move over to the Patreon. All right, Nick's sick. I can't keep him on too long. So shift over to the Patreon if you want to hear us talk mad shit on certain things or whatever. Yeah, so go check out Into the Breach Show at Patreon. Or Spotify exclusive content, definitely do it there. You can hear all our opinions that we have because you're a subscriber and you're like, you know what, I'm going to pay an extra $3 a month. And if we get enough subscribers, maybe we turn this into, we can do this in person with a few other guests. Maybe we get that much income coming in. I can get everyone flown out here every week. That would be awesome. But
that's the dream, man.
Yeah, that's the dream. So go ahead, take it out or go check it out. Into the Breach Show on Spotify, subscribe there, or on YouTube, and go to Patreon. Check out Nicholas Laidlaw at Battles and Beers, or what's your handles?
Battles and Beers and Nick Laidlaw.
Yep. If you want to support his work too, go to Nick's Patreon. What's your Patreon?
Same thing, Battles and Beers.
Yep,
Easy
Battles
to
and
find.
Beers. Support his work over there, his war journalism, his books, all that stuff. All right, switching over to Patreon.